I love an underdog. Whenever I watch sports and it doesn't involve a team that I already know and love, I'll generally root for the underdog. There's something powerful and invigorating about watching the proud and mighty be humbled on the field of competition. And I think the same general sentiment applies for me in the realm of my favorite comic books and fantasy stories. I like the underdog. It's not to say that someone named Superman is inherently an underdog, but in the few times that his secret identity is revealed, there aren't many who were expecting him to be the kind-hearted journalist Clark Kent. The same could be said for Spider-Man as Peter Parker. He's a kid, and yet he's shouldering so much burden and responsibility. You just have to root for him. And while Luke Skywalker comes from a strong pedigree in the Force, we don't know that right off the bat. He's presented as a humble farm boy before saving the galaxy and destroying the Death Star. As much as we love our heroes to be a visage of raw and unimagined power, we also love our underdogs and our unexpected heroes. But last week we were introduced to the monsters of Rome, the beast of the sea, the beast of the land, the harlot of Babylon, all under the power of the dragon, who is Satan cast down from heaven. These are formidable foes, and so it seems that an underdog, not really who we want. We need a full-fledged hero. We need strength to rise and meet this foe that they may be defeated once and for all. So our text today from Revelation presents us with our hero. It sets the scene first. Our writer, John, is transported in this whirlwind vision to the throne room of heaven, where God is seated on the throne. And we see a fascinating scene that says, "Then I saw in the right hand of the one seated on the throne a scroll written on the inside and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming with a loud voice, 'Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?'" Now we have no clue what this scroll says, but it seems to be bursting with information. Scrolls were commonly a paper that had writing on the inside of them before being rolled up, but this one had writing on the inside and on the back, suggesting that this scroll contained rich and compelling details for the reader. It was overflowing with hope and promise. It would appear that this scroll contains the saving and life-giving vision of God, the way of hope that would restore creation. Who is worthy to be the hero? Who is worthy to carry out God's will for the redemption of creation? And heaven falls silent. No one steps forward. Not angels, not elders, not the living creatures around the throne, and a not so subtle dig at Rome when it says that no one in heaven is worthy. It's almost like a taunting question to the Roman pantheon, asking, "You think there's some Roman god up here who's worthy and in waiting?" There isn't. And by saying that there is no one under the earth in what Rome would have considered the realm of the dead, it says that there is no one who has died before who has simply missed their opportunity. There is no individual who is worthy. No hero, no champion, no cosmic Superman who shows up to save the day. John begins to weep bitterly. It's such a human moment, because deep down we know that feeling, don't we? We look at the world, the injustice, the violence, the hatred, and wonder, is anyone strong enough to set this right? Is anyone worthy to carry the weight of history? But just as it seems that all is lost, and there is no hope in the face of such monsters, in the face of such a seductive and powerful empire, an elder of the heavenly court speaks up, saying, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, The root of David has conquered so that he can open the scroll and the 7 seals. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's the moment we've been waiting for. The hero's entrance. Call John Williams, call Hans Zimmer. Cue up the inspirational orchestral music, the heroic theme song. It's time. The Lion of Judah, that's a powerful image. It's drawn from the Old Testament, a symbol of royalty and strength and victory. The lion was the sign of the tribe of Judah, the tribe from which kings would come. It's a messianic image, the fierce defender of God's people, the one who would crush evil and rule in power. And so with John, we turn around expecting to see a mighty warrior, a cosmic king with blazing eyes roaring into battle, tearing down Rome and every empire that stands against God. But this is the brilliance of Revelation. And last week, presenting the great beasts of Rome, it makes a parody of these machinations of evil. Almost effortlessly, line by line, this book stripped away the power of the mightiest empire on earth. And here, just when we think we understand how the powers of this world work, how strength is met with strength, and might is met with might, and violence is met with violence, Revelation flips the script in favor of the reign of God. Behold your hero. Behold the Lamb who was slain. That's the plot twist of all plot twists. We expect a lion. We turn around and get a lamb. Not just a lamb who looks as though it's been slain, wounded, scarred, bearing the marks of sacrifice, who on his body bears the marks of empire's death blow. And yet here's the miracle. This lamb is standing. In the Greek of this text, the word is in the perfect tense, meaning that the lamb was slain but is alive, forever standing. This lamb has 7 horns and 7 eyes, symbolic numbers in Revelation that mean perfect power, perfect wisdom. The lamb is completeness. The lamb is not weak. The lamb is powerful, but it's a power shown through sacrifice. This moment flips the script on everything we think we know about power. Because, let's be honest, if you or I were writing this story, we'd probably keep the lion. We'd send in a cosmic hero to crush the bad guys, overthrow Rome, and wipe every evil off the face of the earth through force. It's just quicker that way. And that's the way that the world's empires operate. Power is about domination and violence and fear. But in heaven's throne room, the only one found worthy to open the scroll, the only one worthy to carry out God's vision, is the Lamb who was slain. It is Jesus Christ who ushers in this future and holds all of history. Not any one of us by ourselves, but by Christ's presence we join in the way of the Lamb. We are called to join in, to follow Christ, to be Christ. But it is by the love of Jesus alone that this new future will be known. The Lamb's worthiness doesn't come from crushing enemies. It comes from giving himself away. It's the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, the Lamb slain for the sins of the world. That's what conquers evil, not brute force, but self-giving love. It's the ultimate underdog hero story. Even more than Clark Kent hiding behind his glasses or Peter Parker juggling homework and supervillains. More than a humble farm boy from Tatooine saving the galaxy. The Lamb looks weak, small, defeated. But this is the cosmic hero whose love is stronger than death. And here's why this matters. Revelation is telling us that God's vision and hope for the world is not accomplished through empires or armies or violence. God's vision is accomplished through the sacrificial love of the Lamb and those who walk in that way. I don't know exactly what's written on the scroll with 7 seals. But I have every confidence that it will be consistent with the heart of this hero who has stepped up to open it. In God's kingdom, the hero isn't the one who conquers by force, but the one who conquers through mercy, forgiveness, and self-giving love. So what do we do with this reimagination of power? As we look at our world and see the ever-unfolding injustices of our own time, how do we stand slain with the Lamb? This vision of the Lamb in Revelation 5 echoes another scene, a quieter, humbler moment that is just as radical. It's the one we heard in our gospel reading, the night when Jesus gathered his disciples in the upstairs room. The world outside is swirling with danger. The betrayal is at the door. Betrayal is at the table. The empire's power looms so large. And what does Jesus do? He takes off his outer robe, wraps a towel around his waist, pours water into a basin, and begins to wash the disciples' feet. Think about that. Really pause and sit with that image. The one who heaven calls the Lion of Judah, the one whose sacrifice makes him worthy to open the scroll of history, is on his knees washing dusty feet. It's shocking, it's almost scandalous, and Peter certainly thinks so. He blurts out, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Because everything about this act just feels completely upside down. Kings don't wash feet, messiahs don't kneel like servants. But Jesus insists, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." This is the same Lamb who stands slain in heaven's throne room. The same Christ who conquers not by raising up a sword, but by taking up a towel. In both Revelation and the Gospel of John, we see power completely reimagined. The hero of this cosmic story is the one who chooses humility, who embraces vulnerability, who lays down his life out of love. And this is where Revelation calls us, to have what I like to call a holy imagination, to look at a world obsessed with might and dominance, and to see something entirely different. As we introduced this reading of Revelation, I talked about getting new lenses by which we might look at this cosmic comic book in faith and read it in an entirely new way. But perhaps we lift those lenses up to look around the world and see it in a new way, to believe that the Lamb's way is the way that saves the world, that true victory doesn't belong to the loudest or to the strongest, but to the one willing to serve, to forgive, to love without limit. This is power reimagined. Church, what if we believed that? What if we measured power not by wealth or force, but by compassion, by humility, by the courage to stand with the vulnerable? What if we empowered leaders who lived like this and built a community that loves like this? I don't know exactly how to face every challenge or new injustice that this world throws at us, but I know that the answer begins with sacrificial love. It begins by seeing our neighbor as someone we are willing to serve, but not as someone who is beneath us. Revelation wants to crack open our imagination so that we can see the world as it truly is, and as God intends it to be. Because the Lamb who was slain is worthy, and his love is already transforming everything. Revelation wants to unlock our holy imagination that we might reimagine power itself, that we might see that the world's empires may roar like lions, but true victory belongs to the Lamb who was slain. Revelation wants to unlock our holy imagination, to stand behind our true hero, and see the scroll of hope unrolled here and now. Amen.